Every man is the builder of a temple, called his body. To the god he worships, after a style purely his own, nor can he get off by hammering marble instead. We are all sculptors and painters, and our material is our own flesh and blood and bones. Any nobleness begins at once to refine a man's features, any meanness or sensuality to imbrute them. Body modification is altering your body in any way, whether it be by ear piercing or tanning. But in this presentation, I'll be focusing more on the permanent modifications, such as stretching your ears or getting a tattoo. In a professional atmosphere, you wouldn't expect to see body modification. You'd see a man covered in tattoos and wouldn't expect him to file your taxes or represent you in a court of law. You'd expect to see him in a tattoo shop or a skate shop. Even something such as a nose ring can prevent you from getting a job, whereas in Indian cultures, nose rings are something that are typically worn in weddings. They're worn to symbolize wealth, they're worn to symbolize fertility and beauty. Nose rings are tradition, they're part of their everyday life. I was able to meet up with some of my friends and discuss their own modifications. We talked about how people view them based on their appearance and how their modifications have affected their everyday lives. We also discussed how they are often treated differently than everyone else because of the way they look.
I did do math. 5 years ago?
I was 19 after I got my job, and since I was finally had the money to do it. It always interested me when I was younger. I liked it, being able to express myself other than just the way I dress.
Really, just because I thought they looked cool at the moment. I got deeper into the scene of tattooing, became friends with tattoo artists, and more of like the meanings behind all the traditional stuff, because pretty much everything I have is traditional.
You used to have your ears stretched, right?
I did.
And how big were they?
They were 2 inches. I could fit a Coke can in.
3 years ago, about like a week before I turned 18, I wanted to pierce my ears at a younger age, and my mom wouldn't let me. And then I discovered stretching and all that stuff, and I liked that. Other than just having like a tacky looking diamond in my ear.
What made you decide to get them sewn up?
It was very hard to get a job that would take me seriously. I also stopped taking myself seriously. I am.
Yeah, how old are you?
She's 4 months old yesterday. I've like been somewhere with just her, or like me and my fiance Emily, who is not tattooed visibly. We'll go places and they like look at her and then they look at me, and then I just I get a lot of like weird like side glances, and like I feel like a lot of people like look at me like, oh, that guy knocked her up. Like, whoa, look at him. Covered in tattoos, that must be the reason.
People come up to you and ask you about your ears and if it hurts. Does it happen all the time?
It happens usually on a daily basis, whether I'm just out in public or even at work. There's some people that are just ignorant about it and rude. So I've noticed that a few people do, just the older people, they don't really know how to react when they see you. They're either freaked out and disturbed by it or just think you're an idiot. And
I was actually bought a car the other day, and I was at the bank, and the lady was like, all right, well, here's, I wrote her a check, because I didn't really want to have that much money in my hands in cash. I feel like that's just a dangerous situation. Turned to me and told me that she was like, oh, well, it'll come out of your account tomorrow. And I was like, okay, cool. And then the lady went, oh, well, that is if he has the money in the account. Because everybody there, obviously at a bank, nobody's tattooed, everybody's in suits and ties. And I work at a skate shop, so I have skate shoes, baggy pants, and usually a skate shop shirt on. It doesn't really matter at that point. So many people so many of my friends, and then so many people in the community of skateboarding, I play music, everybody pretty much has at least one tattoo. I don't think it affects me from fitting in. I play hardcore music. With hardcore, it's almost really like politicky. It's oh, you don't have enough tattoos to be in, I don't play in a tough guy band or anything, but a lot of people are like, oh, you play like, heavy music, screaming breakdown stuff. And I'm like, actually, I don't. It's more of like a post-hardcore, really melodic. And I know a lot of times people are like, oh, it's probably heavy screaming stuff, or he plays metal, I don't want to listen to it. And I'll bring it up at work, and I'll be like, yeah, I play music. And they're like, oh, you play in a heavy metal band, huh? And I'm like, no, I don't.
Body modification is a form of self-expression, or in some cases, even a fashion trend. Many times people with modifications are treated differently than everyone else. They're looked down upon when our society glorifies it in the media. Modified individuals will often lose opportunities a person who is not modified would not, such as a job. People with modifications are just like anyone else. Expressing your interest on your body shouldn't be frowned upon. It should be celebrated.
Hail Santana! Hail!
I would prefer not to associate with people that are going to judge me if I have tattoos or not. Just make sure you like it.
Yeah, just do what you want to do. It's your body. Nobody can tell you what you can and can't do to it.